My name is Lenny Foster. I'm a Kiahani, and I'm from Fort Defiance, Arizona. I was out here twice, but I was not one of the original. I heard about it when I was a student at Colorado State University in Fort Collins, Colorado, 1969. Then I came out here about 5 months later when they had a conference. And I wanted to see what the occupation was all about. At that time, I was a student at Colorado State. I had an inquisitive mind. I wanted to see what the occupation was all about. And from that point, that was a defining moment for many people, including myself. Began my involvement as an Indian activist in this movement, and it continues to this day. And I participated in Alcatraz 69 and 70 and spent the whole, almost a whole month of December during the Christmas break from school. And it was very cold, I remember that. And I had friends at San Francisco State College at the time. Richard Oakes, Joe Bill, Pat Janina. Pat Janina was from Chedito, Arizona, Navajo Reservation. And I joined the American Indian Movement, Denver, Colorado, 1970, under the leadership of the late Vernon Belcourt. From that point on, I became very involved in the American Indian Movement, the Indian rights movement. And I appreciate the effort to put together such an event, commemoration, to have people like Ed Castillo, the Native Names, and some of the others that were part of the original group. And like I said, I was probably the second, third wave those years, 69, late 69, 70, and I continued to participate in the Indian movement. And BIA Takeover, Wounded Knee, other events, Longest Walk, and more recently, I've been, since 1985, I've been given the responsibility of providing spiritual support as a spiritual advisor for Leonard Peltier.
It's been known as the AIM song, and this song has been sung for several generations, and it's a continual song of resistance and a reminder to us indigenous people of kind of why we're here, to resist those systems of oppression and to continue to fight the good fight, to be able to use our voices to advocate for ourselves so that we don't have to rely on anybody else to speak for us or speak in our regard. And so that's what these songs, at least for me, that's what they remind us of, our intrinsic values, our original instruction, and so on and so forth. So here we go.
When Richard Oakes' 13-year-old daughter Yvonne Oakes died in January 1970, the family left the island after her death, leaving other groups fighting for power. While other activists returned to college, new occupants arrived on the island, among them hippie culture that in turn were banned to remain there. At the end of May, the government cut off the electrical service, telephone power, and water supply. Soon after, a fire broke out, destroying some of the buildings. This significantly dropped the population. Without power and water, the occupants began to leave the island, and on June 11, 1971, a large force of officers expelled the last 15 people. The Alcatraz Occupation generated more than 200 cases of civil disobedience and attention to the situation of Native Americans, some calling the occupation the modern cradle of Native American civil rights movement.
Okay, he wants to know our present situation in lieu of the new presidency and what is happening. And of course, we've always been in a state of emergency. because they put us under the patriarchy through the Indian Reorganization Act in 1934, which established our tribal government under federal corporations. So tribal government today is now a federal corporation, and it's under the patriarchy. And we are still jeopardized, and especially with the new presidency, because the first thing he did was to establish an executive order to take away, or to give the go-ahead to build pipelines, both XL and the Dakota Access Pipeline. And you know, that does not only jeopardize us, but it jeopardizes everybody. And I guess we're always the first to know it because, you know, we pray for our water. Water is sacred to us. And so we recognized right off that when they started those pipelines that we would have to do something. And fortunately for us, it was the chairman of the tribe that got arrested first. So they couldn't divide us like they did with Alcatraz, because with Alcatraz they divided us between individuals, young and old, reservation and urban, and they divided the reservation against us. But this time, with say what happened at Standing Rock, they arrested the wrong person because they arrested the tribal chairman, and that brought everybody together and we were able to unite. So we're pretty well united among our tribes now, and everyone else that has been supporting. The veterans have been supporting us. We went out there at just towards the end of December. They were out there, and a lot of people in this country are starting to recognize the jeopardy that we're being put in. Not only us, but themselves. And with what's happening today, and with the executive orders that are going out today, you know, we just did one to stop quote-unquote immigrants, and of course from, where were those countries?
Syria.
Seven Muslim nations we just did. And I say he's the first immigrant that needs to leave. But see, we're, you know, as a nation that has come through genocide, nothing is surprising, you know, because we've had to live under the threat all the time. And right now, our people are probably at the worst state, but now everybody else is in that state, so they better wake up and stand up and fight. That's all I gotta say.
Okay, thank you.
Today's indigenous communities still face oppression, whether it be pollution of their land to false imprisonment of their people. And with Trump reopening the construction pipeline in Standing Rock, this brings a resistance to our front door. We believe that understanding Native history is important in building that connection with today's people, in the hopes that remembering their past will unite a common drive that the fight for justice is not over. San Francisco Bay was inhabited by the indigenous Ohlolones, and when the Spaniards arrived in 1768, about 10,000 Indians covered the Pacific coast from the bay to Monterey. They spoke between 8 and 12 languages. The women and children picked strawberries, carrots, onions, and also caught birds and other small animals. They hunted animals such as deer, elk, and seafood. With the barks from the trees, they made boats for ocean fishing. They had an intimate knowledge of the wildlife around them, while honoring the land. They had a deep spiritual connection to the creation of Mother Earth and carried the titles of protectors of nature. It was a land of many resources, seemingly inexhaustible, and for centuries they lived in a generous land. The anthropologist Alfred Kroeber claimed the Ohlolones lived in a peace and sustainability for hundreds of years, rarely involved in war and violent affairs.
Though they cannot see blood flowing. Rich man's war. Central America bleeding, wounds same as Palestine and Harlem.
In May 1766, Portela and Padre Sierra, with 60 soldiers, priests, and servants, left from Mexico to San Diego and arrived at the end of June. From there, they continued to the bay for Monterey, which had been conquered in 1602 by Sebastian Vizcaíno. Portela, in their continuous journey to the north, came to camp at the base of the mountains of San Francisco in November. When they entered the peninsula, they were the first Europeans to see the water of the bay.
Human lives burnt offerings to the god Greed. With lies for ancestors, there is no truth in some futures.
At the beginning of 1775, the Spanish crown decided to carry out an advanced stay at the bay, making them the first settlers. They called the bay the Great Harbor of San Francisco. The commander Juan Manuel Ayala and his ship San Carlos anchored in the bay, and for 2 months they studied the land. Anza built a cross on March 28, 1776, and preserved the new possession of Spain, establishing the presidios, the missions, and some towns. The presidio was a military base and the defense arms of the Spanish population. The settlements were the representative communities of the government, whose purpose was to provide food for the region, market, mining, and forms of economy. The missions were under the jurisdiction of the Father and was designed for the indoctrination of the law and Catholic work, as well as agriculture, security of territory, and forcing Native American people to convert to the Catholic religion. In California, 21 missions were established along the coast, every 40 miles along the Camino Real route. This was a way of social control of thousands of Native Americans with their military bases used to create slaves and hard labor. On September 17, 1776, the first construction of La Dolores Mission was achieved. Many Indians were taken to this mission, but they suffered diseases that killed thousands of indigenous people, some consisting of smallpox, flu, measles, and others. Mission Dolores was home to many deaths, some imprisoned, others devastated by disease, and some were disintegrated of the community, leading to loss of their identity. Some Indians rebelled or escaped along the coast of the Pacific. During the commemoration of the occupation of Alcatraz, the natives insisted on the struggle of the resistance of their territories, reminding of their respect for the water and Mother Earth. As warriors, they spoke of their brother tribe in Standing Rock fighting a battle on defense of territories in South Dakota, where the interests of the corporations want to exploit resources such as oil, water, and land in the construction of oil pipelines. Tribes have gathered and connected all over the United States to stand against the construction that will contaminate the water of their territories, generating environmental damages and also the pollution of the planet. But they stand together in the shared belief of their people as protectors of Mother Earth, so they continue the battle for justice. Thank you for watching, and please take a look at the link below, freeredfront.com, to help support peaceful activists, and we'll see you next time.